Hello, I'm Daniel Ortiz. Welcome to American Dream Latin Souls, where we share the inspiring story of Hispanic business success. Today, my guest is entrepreneur Andrea Archuleta, founder and CEO of DeliciousSip.com. Welcome to our program.
Thank you. So grateful to be here. Thank you for having us.
I'm excited to have you here because you're on the forefront of a huge trend, Andrea, of Latinas going into business. If you're an Hispanic in America, you're 4 times more likely to go into business. But if you're a Latina in America, you're 6 times more likely to start a business. So we'll talk about your business, DeliciousSip.com. I'm excited because you are fusing an old world concept, product, tea, which is as old as it gets, I think.
Yeah.
And we do have a new twist on it. And you have actually a business which you actually have a patent pending.
Correct.
So it's a new approach to tea. And so before we get into that, I ask all my guests, what is your American dream and what does it mean to you?
My American dream is to be a game changer. I want to be in the group that makes the world a better place to live. And what that means to me in translation would be getting out there, and that's, I think, the drive to startups. That's why I went into startups, because I wanted to be on the team.
So you're a born
with the
entrepreneur, is what I'm hearing.
Yep. I don't think it's something you learn. It's in your blood.
Okay. So tell us the vision of the American dream. You want to be a catalyst, or you want to be you said a game changer. I think the term that they use now is a disruptor, right? In entrepreneurship, right?
Disruptive. You have to be disruptive. And it depends on where you're playing at what time in your life. At some points, you might just need to be the support.
Timing is a big factor. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes you just need to be the support in someone else's dream. At other times, you need to take the lead. And I think you naturally find that as you go and as you develop as an individual, as long as you constantly stay pursuing your dream.
Okay. So tell us, what is DeliciousSip.com? I know it involves tea.
Yes.
And as I've told you before, I'm a coffee guy. I do like tea, but I'm willing to learn.
We're going to convert you by the end of the show.
Okay. All right. Looking forward to that. And so how did this come about? And tell us what DeliciousSip.com is and how did it come about?
So DeliciousSip.com is a luxury organic loose leaf tea company. And we specialize in bringing the highest quality teas from the best growing regions around the world right to your door.
Okay, so I'm gonna challenge you here because there's nothing disruptive about that.
Correct.
So it's the approach that you I think is what's disruptive.
Absolutely. So this is Delicious Sip started that way. We just wanted to be a really high quality tea company. But then as we grew, we realized that there was a space in the market for a packaging innovation that would make loose leaf tea convenient.
Okay,
and
I think we've got some images of your packet, and we're going to do a demonstration here in a little bit.
Okay.
So can you bring out one of the packages and tell us?
Yes, so what we developed is what we call a loose-to-go packet. And essentially what this does is it solves the problem of loose leaf tea on the go.
Okay, so we're seeing the images there. So it's a package.
Yes.
Okay.
And what I'd like to show you is why we came up with this.
Okay, exactly.
So prior to this, if you wanted to do loose leaf tea and you were headed to the office or just around town for lunch, you would need to have something like this, which is an infuser. Okay,
now for the people who are not tea aficionados, what is the distinction between loose leaf tea and say a tea bag that you get from the store, which I'm familiar with?
Okay.
All right, and I like to make sun tea, so they kind of, but I've seen people who are really into tea. And I guess that's the equivalent of like wine for me. I'm a wine aficionado, so the distinctions are very important.
Yes.
Right.
So in the tea world, loose leaf tea is the higher end, on the higher spectrum of quality. So it's not in a bag. If it's loose, it's higher quality? Typically, yes. Okay. The idea of loose leaf is that the leaf size tends to be larger, so it needs space to expand as it brews.
Okay.
And that correlates with the quality of the tea. The larger the leaf sizes tends to be. When you're in a tea bag, in the industry we call it dust and fanning. So it's all the little particles that are left and just get packed in a little bag. So the quality tends to be less. The convenience is there, but that's pretty much all you gain from that experience. The taste profiles are a lot deeper.
I was going to ask you, does the being in the bag, and who knows how long those bags sit?
Right.
It could be a year or longer. Right. Does that affect the tea, the flavor? Like wine is a moving target. You never have the same sip because the oxygen affects it.
Changes.
So is that the same with tea?
With tea, the difference here is you want to keep your tea separate from your filtering mechanism, whether it be a bag or an infuser, because at the time of consumption you want to bring them together. If not, if you do it before, it could compromise the integrity of the tea.
Okay.
Some of these flavors are very rich, and you have oils, and when you put them pre-packaged or pre-bagged, it starts to mess with the flavor. The oils are drawn out,
all right, so I can see that, and I'm thinking now, as a coffee drinker, the how you make your coffee, the whatever, whether you brew it or
French
microwave it, whatever,
press,
it makes a big French press,
yes.
which I'm doing now because I can see the difference.
There's a difference.
A huge difference. So okay, so I get it now. I'm getting that how you make your tea, how you brew your tea is important if you're really if you're really a tea aficionado. So what problem does this solve? I mean, why your company? I get the loose leaf concept.
Right.
So tell us what the transition from what existed into what this is doing now.
So
what's the differentiator?
The differentiator here is that instead of having to carry something like this infuser in my purse and my tea bags or tea looking like this, and this is very
This is what people do
typical,
now, or up
right,
to now. Okay.
up to now, and getting up early to pack this and carry it around, and now I have this to clean out, this to deal with, and I really don't want to put that in my purse and my clutch when I'm going out to dinner, but I still want high quality tea. Because part of this is also the experience. This becomes a ritual. So that is why individuals are willing to do this. Now with the loose to go packet, and the reason it came about is because this is a lot cleaner than this, this.
Okay, show us how. So I can see that it's simpler.
Yes, so this is how it works. This is a live demo.
Now you have an actual patent on, or patent pending on this, right?
Patent pending.
Okay, congratulations, because once that is approved, you'll be, I believe the statistic is less than 0.3% of all patents are granted to Latinas. So
On our way.
So hooray for you for that.
Thank you. On our way.
So
with the packet, it's very simple to use.
Okay.
It has the 2 notches. You're going to tear it open at the top. Inside, this is where the magic is. There are 2 chambers.
Okay.
In the back chamber, and they're
I don't know if we
separate
have an
from each
image
other.
of that coming up.
I don't know.
But okay, so there's 2 chambers in the bag. Here it is, okay.
Right, so that's everything that's inside. So we have the filter. You take out the filter.
Okay.
And if you have to, you can put this down. The tea won't fall out. Open up your filter. And you need this kind of filter because you need a larger bag than a typical tea bag if you want those leaves to expand. So that's why
It's more vertical than horizontal, like regular tea bags I've seen. Okay. And the bag itself, is there any special?
Biodegradable.
Biodegradable.
It'll go in your compost pile.
Oh, okay. So I'm sure a lot of people like that. Everything's going organic these days.
If we're organic, we were on
green
brand.
organic, okay.
So you have the filter. The next thing you're going to do is get that tea and just pour it in as much as you'd like, because the customization is preserved when you keep them separate and it's not prepackaged. So if you're sensitive to caffeine or you like it brewed a certain way, you get to keep that customization with our packet. Then you're just going to grab the strings, gently tug them, and then you're going to drop them into a cup of hot water. So essentially, all you need now to have loose leaf tea on the go is a packet and a cup of hot water. Brew it for 3 to 5 minutes, and you're good.
What a simple concept. I mean, why didn't anybody think of this before?
I think it's because we had different things. We had the metal infusers, and those are cool, and all this tea. And the one thing about the tea industry, like you'd mentioned, it's very old. We're looking at about 5,000-year-old industry. And when you're in an industry like that, the only thing you can do is innovate packaging and match the trends. And the trends are convenience and packaging innovation. So with this is the first time ever, we're the only ones with this packet. This is a major differentiator, and it's right on trend. You've got the convenience, and you have the quality, and you preserve the experience of the loose leaf.
So were you a tea aficionado before? So you actually experienced the problem that I think there's got to be a better way. That's how a lot of inventions get started.
That's the best way.
An entrepreneur, they experience something, there's got to be a better way. And I mean, this show is a part of that process. I was wondering why in the national media, when the subject of Hispanics came up, is always in the context of illegal immigration, especially during election season. And I know better that, Latinos are starting businesses or creating jobs, and why isn't anybody talking about that? So I said, well, if not me, then who? If not now, then when? So, but that's the mindset of the entrepreneur. And I want to switch gears a little bit. We'll come back to this. I think this is a great idea. What I love about this is that the simplicity. It solves a great problem elegantly, right? So
simple
kudos.
elegance right there. That's what we were after.
Yeah.
And the reason I got into this.
And the ritual aspect, you can maintain the ritual aspect, because
Yes.
tea is a ritual. I mean, so is
It
coffee,
is.
our morning coffee, our tea, and yeah, so I mean,
When you're running out the door and you're 15 minutes late, you still want your ritual. Grab a loose to go packet, throw it in your briefcase, throw it in your purse.
Right.
If you're going
Put it in your
traveling,
pocket, you know.
pocket, yeah,
Right.
anywhere. It fits anywhere. Anywhere you
Right.
have about a 3x5, it'll fit.
and then you just need hot water and a cup
And
or
that's
glass
it.
too.
So you can take this camping. You can take this
Skiing, I'm thinking of skiing.
skiing, exactly. You could take it skiing. It's TSA approved. It'll fly anywhere.
All right.
That's all you need. It's all about, this is all about the convenience for the person on the go, which is why we named it Loose to Go.
Okay.
And the way it came about was I was selling regular loose leaf tea into hotels, restaurants, and direct to consumer. And what they were telling me with the feedback, it was the feedback from my customers, they were saying, this is great, but it needs to be simpler. It needs to be easier to brew tea because loose leaf tea can be a hassle at times.
Right.
So they said, make it easier and I'll buy it. So I went home and I thought about it. And I thought, okay, I got to figure this out.
See, this is what entrepreneurs do, and we're going to switch into the entrepreneur mindset.
Yes.
Because I believe that the entrepreneurs are born, not
Yeah,
made.
absolutely.
And virtually every person that has sat in that chair over the last couple of years has answered the same to this question. Were the seeds of entrepreneurship sown early when you were younger? Did you have some type of business selling Girl Scout cookies, lemonade, anything like that?
Actually, no, but I do have to admit, my family is from New Mexico, born and raised. They were here before it was a state.
Right.
So let's talk about founding everything, and I think it's just in the blood. So I decided that
So what's
I
your
was going
background?
to-
You have a master's degree in business, I believe?
I do. All at University of Mexico. I have an undergrad in interpersonal communication in Spanish, a double, and at the UNM Anderson School, I have an MBA International Management and Latin American Management.
Okay.
And before that, I was working with startups as a consultant. I was in VC for a while, venture capital, so I see how that works on both ends. Before that, I was in international business, and I was in business development for over a decade.
So you
with
learned
all
some
of
best
these,
practices, I'm sure, during that time.
absolutely. Yep. And the beautiful thing about spending time in other industries and with other companies is that you learn. And
What did you learn
it
from the
helps.
VC industry? Because that's a different subset of entrepreneurs. You know, technically it's called venture capital.
Yes, venture
it's
capital.
derisively called vulture capital.
vulture capital at
Right.
times.
So,
So from VC, I learned that you better have something people want to buy. You better get out there.
not
and
just because you
customer
like
validate.
it, but people
Nope.
want to buy it.
That's self-reference criteria. One
Yeah.
thing I like may not be what you like. So I have to listen to the market and the individual, my target market, listen to what they're saying.
Huge, and that's a huge reason a lot of entrepreneurs or people that go into business, they're not true entrepreneurs a lot of times, but they fall in love with a product or service or gadget, something they love it, and they assume that the world is
will
going to love it too.
Right.
And maybe they don't know how to market it. And a lot of it is positioning, right? How you
Correct.
position it and actually solve a problem first rather than just present the end solution.
Yeah, you have to have something to solve first.
Right, right.
So, and with venture capital, I got to see both sides of the coin. So I would see what kind of deals were funded. I used to vet many companies. That was part of my job. So I got to see what the landscape looked like.
And what kind of patterns did you see in the successful companies or the successful entrepreneurs?
The team. The team is
The attitude
very
behind them.
important because you can take an A product and have a B team and it'll fail. But you can have an A team and a B product and they'll get that thing to market because they know how to do it.
Right.
So you're looking at the team, you're looking at the actual product itself.
So how do you attract a team? Tell us about your business. You have a team. What is the business structure? You're a corporation, a sole provider?
I'm an LLC right now.
LLC, which is limited liability company.
Correct.
Right.
So we will, if we take on venture capital, we will have to restructure under an S Corp or a C Corp. But right now I'm an LLC. I have a board of directors. And I have several contractors under me to support me, whether it's in IT or sales or anything else. I need marketing. I have that kind of support.
So your company's not diluted anyway. You own 100% of it?
Correct.
And you pay the board of directors, or there's some
Yep.
arrangement? Okay,
Yes,
so
absolutely.
no debt, no equity. So that's
I'm
important.
ready to go. That's important when you're looking at raising venture capital.
Absolutely.
And my board of directors is important. And I actually want to mention that I have one individual on there who's amazing. His name is Scott Maloney, CEO of Bowtie.io. He has taken several things like this forward, and that is really important. I thank him so much for helping
Sure,
me
'cause
in the
you
early
leverage their
days.
contacts and their
Their experience, they know what they're doing. that's the kind of team you need to have around you. It's not just who's working under you, but it's also who's guiding you along the way. Because no matter what I learn,
like a mentor then?
What I know, absolutely, mentor slash on my board. Smart move for me. And I have others that I consult with. I have tea masters that blend the tea because that's not what I know. I know business more than I know blending tea.
Right.
So they're on my team. Okay. Every little individual you have to integrate in and then leverage for their best skill set.
So what is the scope of this business? That's deliciousip.com. It's
correct. It's online.
It's online, but how do people find you? Do you have, what's your distribution method? I mean, it's in stores or hotels or what's,
right now what's
the scope of the business?
The packet itself is about 6 months old. This is a brand new baby on the market.
Okay.
So we were working on getting the packaging correct to go into larger accounts.
So this has been on the market 6 months?
Yes. Okay. So we're in discussions with hotels now to get them in to not only the rooms, because you don't want that tea bag. You want something quality. So we're speaking to the higher end hotels.
Right.
The higher end
I experienced that with the coffee. Is when I go to, it depends on the hotel. The nicer the hotel, the better quality of the coffee.
Right. So the tea better be on par with
sometimes
that.
Sometimes people don't know this, but business travelers sometimes will select the hotel just because we know they got good coffee.
Right. Yes, exactly. So that's where the tea needs to be, because not everyone's coffee. But the coffee is already got there. It's already. The expectation is there, but the tea is just a little bit behind.
So is there a learning curve with your having people do people who drink tea, do they get it immediately? I mean,
if you're
it took me a while
tea drinker, yes. If you're a loose leaf tea drinker, this is an aha moment.
Okay.
When you see this, it's done. It's like, oh, you're burden free now. You don't know more carrying everything and having to worry about it. Yep, it's like that.
So you don't have an education curve.
Not with the traditional loose leaf drinkers.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
What is the size of that market, by the way? Do you know? Like in the United States, I know
15%. 15% in the U.S. 15% of the 15% of the population are loose leaf tea drinkers.
Okay.
Tea is
so 300 million Americans. Are you saying 50% of those are loose leaf tea drinkers?
Loose leaf tea drinkers.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
So that's 45 million. Is that?
Ish.
15. Yeah. 15 times.
I'll let you handle that math.
Yeah.
And I do know that within that, over 50% of the U.S. population in general does drink tea. So when you take that and then you pare it down to the 15, that's a great market, and that's just the U.S.
Right, right.
Globally, I believe we're about a 450 billion-ish.
I think at least because I mean, the Asian societies, of course, they founded tea. I mean, all the tea in China. How many times have we heard that? But also the Middle Eastern societies, and there's billions of people there. In Africa, I mean, it's a huge.
We know that, we recognize it. We recognize that there's not just a gap in the U.S. market, but it's a global gap.
Right.
This white space exists everywhere because tea drinkers have this pain point. So we're actually looking at filing our PCTs for our international patents coming up.
Okay, so for our audience, what does PCT mean?
The international patent.
Okay, it's a patent to get internationally. So
right, so you have to essentially.
Other companies can't copy this.
Correct.
Right.
So you have to essentially file on the world stage and say, hey, we're here, this is ours.
Nobody else can do this for however long the patent lasts.
Correct, but you have to go into each country individually and file. Oh, I guess the European Union, they have a little bit more of a
collective
group. But so we're going to file on the international stage because I believe we do have something. My team believes we do have something.
Okay.
And it's spectacular.
So do you happen to know the Queen of England, how she has her tea? I mean, tea's big in England, right? So
I don't know. I've never seen her personal tea service, but I will say she probably prefers a milk and a dark.
But with a loose leaf tea or a?
Oh, she has to be on loose leaf. She's a very classy lady. She has to be on loose leaf, and the quality is there. When you can have the best in the world, you have to be drinking loose leaf tea.
Okay.
And the beautiful thing about our company is that we make loose leaf tea accessible, affordable, and fun for everyone. Everyone can.
So how does someone find your
delicious
get this tea? They just go online and they can just order it.
Direct.
Do you have different flavors or different?
So we have about 30 different flavors.
Okay, and I think you got some samples
some products here, yeah. So we have about 30 different flavors, and a few of them rotate in and out.
So is this like one flavor for the
That
bunch
is
of tea bags?
one, correct. So this is a 3-ounce bag of tea. That's about it. You could open it, yeah. That's about a month's worth of tea.
Okay.
Then we have a 1 ounce that we're putting up, and that is about 10 days worth of tea. The boxes are amazing gift boxes that we put together. They have 3 different flavors.
This would be a great gift for that hard-to-get person for Christmas who loves tea, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
You can't go wrong with that.
And we sell, the unique thing about the Loose To Go package is it afforded us the ability to offer our customers something new, not only in the experience, but in the way that tea is tasted. So, and tea is done. So what I'm trying to say here is that we'll give you a dozen, you order these in a dozen. We have all the different flavors on our website. You can go in and pick each one individually.
And get them as a
and you can get an assorted box, which is great because if you go to the grocery store now, you have to commit. You have to commit to a box of 20 or a box of 12 or a box of 18, however it's packaged. But it's not enough variety. So we allow our users to come in.
People who are like variety, because I know my coffee, I want it dark. I mean, I want French roast dark. That's it. I don't want to experiment. But tea's a little bit more elaborate. It's more like wine in the sense that
you will always
have different flavors, right?
I believe you'll always have your favorites. You might just be a white tea drinker in general or a black tea. But I think...
Or like Picard, Earl Grey.
Earl Grey.
Right, on Star Trek.
Yes. And that's actually what we brewed up here today. So like our top sellers would be an Earl Grey in the black, a Kyoto Cherry Rose in the green, and maybe a White Sunrise Peach in the white. So our market tells us, yes, those are the popular ones, but we're also stocking several others because the varieties change. And the beautiful thing about tea is it's so open for exploration. So this is another way. You're like, well, I'm a black tea drinker. Oh, but that Kyoto Cherry looks kind of nice. Well, I'm going to put it in my loose to go order, try it out. And that's an easy way to do it. But I think even black tea drinkers. Yeah, but the black tea drinkers would say, okay, well, I've got my Earl Grey, I love it, but Irish breakfast looks pretty good, and that's a black tea, and now I might want to try something different. So we tend to blend more.
Cool. So let's switch gears a little bit and talk about the entrepreneur journey.
Okay.
Okay, you said that you, and you're one of the few, but it does happen that you didn't have businesses growing up. So why, but you are a born entrepreneur. I mean, I can tell just your mindset, the way you think, the way you have in addition to your education, which you have a world-class education in business.
Thank you.
So how did you come about, what made you go from working for others to starting your own company? Because that's a leap of faith a lot of times, and there's a risk involved. And that's what differentiates entrepreneurs from somebody who wants to be in business but never really takes that leap of faith.
I've known from a very early age, I'll tell you this, that I did not want to do the 8 to 5. It just didn't appeal to me. And I wanted to be my own boss. That was something I was like, this is important. So if I'm 5 minutes late, I'm not worrying about losing my job. The other unique thing that I found was that I'm willing to work from, let's say, 9 a.m. to 9 a.m. again the next morning. The all-nighter doesn't faze me. 9 p.m., 12, 14-hour, 16-hour days, no problem.
Right.
Because I'm building something for myself and I'm willing to put that in. And I knew that I valued that and that was okay with me. And when I started to put all these little things together and then wanting to solve problems, it was slowly coming together. And then as I helped other individuals realize their dreams and what they wanted to bring to market, I thought, I'm coaching you on how to get through this. You pay me to help you get there.
Right.
It's time for me to do it for myself. I'm very good at making other people money.
Right.
Let's shift directions now and let's go ahead and do this. So it's all these little things that finally come together to the moment where you say, okay, I'm going to step off the ledge.
Was there a moment?
Oh yes.
Okay.
There's
tell us about that.
It was when I was doing consulting. I love my clients, but I was realizing that I keep on doing the same thing over and over and over and over again, and I'm not really growing my skill set.
And that's one of the things that get the entrepreneur mindset is that we like change. That's the distinction between a business owner and an entrepreneur. A business owner come in and run the business and just do the same thing over and over again and maybe build a business. But entrepreneurs, we want to build a business and then we're going to sell it and we're going to do the next thing. And we don't want to do the same thing over and over again, do we?
No. But you better have discipline to get through that first thing or else there won't be a second.
Right.
And that I think is another thing that entrepreneurs have. They're willing to sacrifice more than others, whether it be professional relationships, personal relationships, work hours. They're just different stressors that I believe we're willing to undertake that the general public typically isn't.
There's a beautiful quote that I saw somewhere. It says, entrepreneurship is doing what others aren't willing to do so that you can live like others can't later on, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I kind of paraphrase that. But
yeah, essentially. And that's what we do.
Right.
And sometimes people are after the money, other times people are after just, I see more, it's the idea that they want to bring to market. It's not necessarily they're chasing the money, but it's this, I have something amazing, I have to share it with the world because I want to make the world a better place.
Right. And the money comes afterward.
The money comes afterward.
That's part of it, yeah.
Because that's one of
what you love. The misguided notions about entrepreneurs in the general public, they think we're just money hungry or just after money. No. Money's our God and it's all about money. No, money's a measure of what we do.
Right. And at the end of the game, because in the beginning, let me tell you, the one thing you need is probably somebody supporting you because you're putting everything in, and that's another struggle. Right. Financially, this is one of the most draining things.
Or call you crazy?
Oh, I get called crazy, I think, every 15, 20 minutes.
Okay, so that's you're not a true entrepreneur if somebody doesn't think you're crazy. Right?
But to do what we do and commit the way we do.
To take the risk, you know, going from a secure job, making money, whatever, and
you're putting everything. This is
so
you
tell
on the market.
Challenges that you've had.
Oh, challenges. Ask me which milestone. All the way through. Every time I try and reach a new.
Let me ask you the one challenge, and I don't see it in you, but some women in general say it's harder for a woman to go into business or start a business because of the male-dominated, blah, blah, blah. So any issues there?
When I see entrepreneur, I see entrepreneur. You're either in or you're out.
But you haven't had people that didn't want to support you because you're a woman or Latina?
If I have someone like that, I just say, okay, walk off. Mm-hmm. They're not my person.
So being a woman isn't a challenge, or Latina?
No, I don't think so. I think it's all about drive.
Okay.
You know,
or your mindset again.
That's it. That's it. And if somebody tries to hold you down, then you just brush it off. Brush it off, and you go and find your way, because they can't tell you who you are unless you let them. And if you're a female, good for you. If you're male, good for you. If you're a minority or a majority, it doesn't matter. Just embrace who you are and take what you have and see how far you can run with it. That's the important thing. There's no reason to break it down into anything else, in my opinion.
Right,
it's just blind entrepreneur, you're in or you're out.
Well, the successful entrepreneurs encounter challenges, encounter obstacles, and we just move around them or go over them. I mean, it's just, and whether it's always going to be something, right?
You can always find an excuse.
You can blame it, I'm a minority, I'm a woman, I'm a this, I'm a that.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, if it's not that, it's going to be something else, right?
Exactly. It doesn't matter. Every person in the world has their own set of challenges.
Right.
And it's all about figuring out how to overcome those.
Right.
And you don't even have to be an entrepreneur to do that. You just have to try to be the best version of yourself and try to move your story forward. And that is how you do it. It just happens to be that I'm taking the entrepreneurial route.
Right.
As are you. And that's the way it's going.
Right. So any particular challenges that you face and you'd like to share with us that you've overcome?
I'll give you several. The first one that gave me...
We got about 2 minutes left, so give us the short version.
The shortest one, the one that had me terrified was getting the packets out in time to meet the commitments that I had made.
It's pre-sold?
Pre-sold. We had pre-sold, and the factory was backed up. There was a problem. I'm trying to negotiate all these things. I already have the stock, the tea stock sitting there. I have to get these things packaged. Oh wait, I don't have the packet. So to overcome that, I think I have several more gray hairs coming through that, but it was just talking it through all the way through on the supply chain. You're on my team here.
You're dependent on others to get this to market, aren't you? Which is a challenge because you can't control.
I can't control many things. The weather, I can't control.
Where does the tea come from?
It depends on the flavor, but I have tea coming in from wherever the best region is for that. So I have chamomile from the Nile Delta.
So this is globally.
Yep, I have some of the peppermint is up just from Washington. Like a global. It's completely global. Right. You'll find your mate coming out of South America.
What an interesting world we live in now, where we can do that. We import tea from literally from China and sell it on the internet and so forth. So we got about a minute left, Andrea. We could talk much longer about.
I want to talk forever about tea.
I know we love our business, but we have a short time here. So in the 30 seconds we have left, tell us, what advice would you give to any budding entrepreneur, Latina, doesn't matter, someone who wants to start their own business? You came, into your own business not late. I mean, you're still a young woman, but relatively, after a professional career.
Experienced.
Okay. So what advice would you give?
Validate your market and never stop trucking unless you realize you're not selling anything. Then pull the plug, start the next thing. But get out there, you really believe in yourself, and validate your market.
Okay, very good. Well, good advice. Andrea, thank you for being a guest on our show. A very inspiring story. We wish you much success, and you may have to turn me on the corner so I can
It's time. It's time. A little bit of the baby steps.
Okay, baby steps. All right.
Thank you for having
Well,
us.
the convenience thing is a big factor
it's huge.
too. So
that's the win. Complementary, not competitive. We want to enhance your tea experience.
Okay, very good. Well, again, thank you for sharing your inspiring story in American Dream Latin Souls, and I'd like to thank our audience for joining us on this edition of American Dream Latin Souls. Be sure to visit us online at latinosuccess.com. Good.
Okay.
That's a wrap.
Not bad.